Welcome to Bonesaw Poker. I am Brad. Let's get into it. Time for another Angry Players video. Told you we'd never run out of these. So this was in my last trip to the Hard Rock. I was playing Live 1-2. I got there at 6 in the morning. So most everybody there was from overnight. Probably everybody but me. A handful of tables going. And I got put on a table where there were now 7 out of 8, so that we didn't have full tables going anywhere. And so I sit down. I am in the 4 seat, and everything's normal. Everything's good. Recognize the guy in the 1 seat, and the guy in the 8 seat. I've seen him there before, and so we're just playing. Everything's fine. And then the 5 seat opens up, and this drunk guy sits down, and I don't know, he's probably like 30. His sister's there, and I mean, he's pretty drunk. So this hand plays out where it's the 2 seat against somebody on the other end of the table. Let's say the 7 seat. It doesn't make a big deal for the story, but so the guy in the 5 seat that's drunk, he's talking and doing whatever, and so the hand gets to the river, and the 7 seat bets. The 2 seat shows his hand to the 1 seat and throws it in the muck, and then so dealer pushes the pot, and then he's pushing the cards together. And then all of a sudden, the 5 seat said is, well, show one, show all. And the dealer's like, I already got, it's too late. Well, show one, show all. And, it's like, okay. And the guy in the 2 seat is like, the hand's over. And the guy in the 5 seat says to the dealer again, oh, well, hey, I thought it was show one, show all. And the guy in the 2 seat said, show it to him. He says, and he looks at the guy in the 5 seat and says, you can have all the information in the world you want. You're still going to lose all your money. Okay? And the dealer's like, I can't pull it. I don't know where it is. I can't pull it out anymore. So then we thought we were moving on. And so then the 5 seat is getting on the dealer. He's like, you're supposed to show all. And he said, yeah, I didn't realize it. I'm sorry. I, already, started scooping up the cards. And the 5 seat couldn't let it go, and, was barking at him some more. And the dealer apologized one more time. Said, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's on me. Show one, show all. I should have shown it. And it really wasn't. I mean, in that situation, the guy mucked it. And if the drunk guy really wants to see that, he should say it before the dealer puts it in there, not talking to somebody else, and then when it's too late, say something. If you want something done, say it while there's still time for it to get remedied, not after it's too late. And so now the dealer's getting a little irritated, and I don't blame him. And so the dealer, we're dealing out the next hand, and the drunk guy just can't let it go, and said something else to the dealer about, really, you should be showing that, so on and so forth. And then the dealer said, look, I've apologized twice. We need to, just move on. And so then the drunk guy starts jawing with the guy in the 2 seat. And so, the hands are being played out. And this whole time, the drunk guy keeps talking to the 2 seat, who doesn't really want to converse. And the guy's being, a drunk jerk. So finally, the guy in the 2 seat says, just because we're at the same table doesn't mean we have to talk to each other. And the drunk guy didn't like that. And, so the chatting's going on back and forth. Other people are jumping into it and this and that. And then the 2 seat said a couple more times, I don't want to talk to you. I didn't come here to talk to people. I don't want to talk to you. And drunk guy just kept yapping. So then 2 seat said to the dealer, can we get the floor over here? So they bring the floor over, and the 2 seat says to the floor, says, look, This guy just keeps running his mouth. I really don't want to talk to him. I just want to be left alone. So the floor said, look, if somebody here at the table doesn't want to have a conversation, let's all be adults and leave the person out of the conversation. And so, okay, we think we're good. So the floor walks away, and drunk guy's right back at it again. And so here we are squabbling, and now the whole table's squabbling. And it's like, what the hell is going on here? And now it's getting louder, and now people are threatening each other. So somebody over on the other end of the table said to the drunk guy, just because you walked over here doesn't mean you won't be limping out. So now he's getting mad, and he's saying how he's going to F people up. And the two-seat, who is a bigger dude, looked at him and said, look, if this keeps going, I'm just going to beat the shit out of you. And then the drunk guy's like, oh, that's, you can't say that and this and that. So they call for the floor to come over again, and that's taking a few minutes. And they're still jawing back and forth. And so at that point, I grabbed my rack out from tucked in my chair. And I start racking up, and I got up. I said, this is the most miserable fucking poker table I've ever played at. And I'm leaving. Now, the problem with that is we have an open seat, and so are the other seats. They're not going to move me. If I put in for a table change, they're not going to move me. But at this point, I don't care. So as I'm getting up, the two seats apologizing to me, saying, look, I'm not trying to piss you off or get you to leave. And I said, no, it's not you. There's a drunk guy that just won't leave it alone. And so then I walk over to the brush stand, where it's a different floor supervisor. And I said, look, it's just off the hook over there. I know I can't table change, but put me back on the list or do whatever, but I'm not playing at that table. And he says, he asked me a couple questions. I said, yeah, it's the drunk belligerent guy in seat 5. So the floor looked at me and he said, go to table 34. So I went to 34, and I saw him walk over there, and a couple minutes later, drunk guy leaves. So they took care of it. But I mean, it was just bonkers, I mean, if somebody tells you that they don't want to talk to you, is it a little rude? Maybe. I don't know. But just go with it, And the guy in the one seat, I have a little history with. Same situation. It was a time when I go there early because I would get up at my normal time, and I'd head down there at like 3, 4, or 5 in the morning. And it was basically just a complete replay of what this was, but without the assault potential. So he was in the one seat again, much like the one seat. I was in like the 6th seat, and this drunk guy sits down in the 3 seat, and he's just playing just crazy. And so we get in a hand. I have a player to my left who's got like $100, and drunk guy bought it for $300. So he gets in a hand with the guy to my left, and drunk guy looks at me and says, because he raised, and the $100 guy shoved, and drunk guy looks at me and says, I got 10-7. You think I should go? What should I do? And I said, oh, rifle it in, man. And then the $100 guy got mad and said, one player per hand, one player per hand. I looked at the dealer, one player per hand. So the dealer kind of like, one player per hand, sir. You can't chime in a hand that you're not in. I said, my apologies. I apologize to the $100 guy. Won't happen again. And so drunk guy had 10-7 and flopped 2 10s and beat $100 guy. $100 guy rebuys, and a few hands later, he gets stacked again by a drunk guy. A few hands after that, I double up off a drunk guy. A few hands after that, somebody that has drunk guy covered takes him out. Drunk guy leaves. The guy in the one seat. So the $100 guy left. Then after drunk guy got stacked. He left, and we were, just talking about the whole situation. And the guy in the one seat said to me, he said, "You shouldn't apologize for that. The guy never should have said anything to you. We got a fun player at the table who's going to rifle off all his money. We piss him off. He's just going to go to the blackjack table and rifle off all his money. Either we get it or the casino gets it. If the guy wants to ask you a question," he said, "you didn't do anything wrong. You had every right to just sit there and keep the guy entertained." So this whole time when I just was down there the other day, I noticed he wasn't saying anything, and he wasn't getting up, he wasn't leaving, because he wants drunk guy at his table. He'll put up with all the nonsense. Probably why he had a mountain of chips in front of him too, and he probably plays overnight for that reason too. He's just picking off these drunk guys. So that was a pretty miserable table in my opinion. Unlike the one seat, it's like, I'm out of here. So then I table changed, and then later on in the day I table changed again. But so who was the angry guy? I don't know. Everybody but the one seat, I guess. Everybody else was. I was upset. Two seat was upset, and drunk guy was mad. Rest of the table, like I say, one guy, just because you walked in here doesn't mean you won't be limping out. I don't know. Pretty miserable, in my opinion. Not a place I wanted to sit at. So put down in the comments any kind of crazy stories that you've run into that are similar to that, with drunk people and belligerent people and people threatening each other. I mean, I thought we were adults here. Come on, people. So that's the story that happened recently. And for Bonesaw Poker, I'm Brad. Thanks for watching. And remember, everything you want is on the other side of fear.